into the land of dreams, where the sun rises with the contrasting color of joy and happiness, where the fog embraces the mind and bring out the internal peace within, and the fluttering of the prayer flags reminds us to maintain the harmony and peace as preached by the Lord Gautam Buddha. The smell of the long pine trees with wet soil pulls the human mind closer to enrich the self-happiness within the nature, that the soul finds the true meaning to be in love with the nature, to be in laps of the most beautiful Himalayan ranges, where the seasonal rhododendron blooms with their immense color, like welcoming warm, broad smile. The chirping of the birds with the blowing of the chilling winds, fluttering prayer flags, and to the far, the rising of the fog from beneath the beautifully decorated villages, the rhythmic sound of the waterfalls, bells tied in the neck of the mountain yaks, the morning chants of the monastery Om Mani Padme Hum, echoing throughout the surrounding, creates an extreme ambience, creates some amazing lifetime memories to yourself. Yes, we are going to the highest point of Darjeeling, the Sandakphu and Phalut. A sunrise view from the Mani Wall of Tumling takes us to the era of peace. It feels like standing in between the chants and mantras of harmony and unity. As was said earlier, the tiny hamlet Tumling is located at the border of Nepal and India. The left side is the Ilam district of Nepal, and the concrete road side is the part of India. When the weather is clear all around, one could get some amazing views of the sleeping Buddha, the KhanchenDzonga ranges. And if we move a bit more uphill, one could spot Everest, but not so clear. After Tumling, our next destination is Kalipokhri. Some also stay in Gairibas. But staying in Gairibas and next day trek to Sandakphu is a bit more lengthy and strenuous compared to Kalipokhri to Sandakphu. There are two trails which get divided from Tumling. One is a stone paved trail and another is a motorable road trail. though both leads to the same destination and meets at the entry point, the gate of Singalila National Park. Gairibas is the breaking point or a tea break point on the way, which is 7 kilometers from Tumling. On the trail, one gets the glance of long-distance views of the surrounding green mountains, with rhododendron trees and grasslands on its edges. And here it is, the checkpost and entry gate of the Singalila National Park, which is just a few meters away from Tumling. One needs to get permit and buy tickets to enter the Singalila National Park, which is provided after checking the proper identities. And no one is allowed to enter the Singalila National Park without a local guide. Leaving the checkpost behind, the trail gets divided. The right one is the motorable road and the left one is the trekking trail through the grasslands with big rhododendron trees on its edge. The trekking trail further leads to Jobhari. Walking on these trails is like walking through the dreams. Beautiful clouds floating like numerous angels in the blue sky above the head, and the amazing soothing sensation provided by the cool breeze. Magnolias and varieties of flowers blooming all around. Wherever we see, it's only grasslands and greeneries beckoning us to feel the fragrance of the raw natural beauty. Trail to feel, path to observe in silence, surrounding to witness, as we are in the wonderland of the Himalayas, land of sleeping Buddha. After a few meters, the trail is a bit steep, but worth the climb as it enters the dense forest of Singalila. Soon, the terrain changes from green meadows to dense forest, high-standing birch, oak, and cedar, and rhododendron trees all around. This region is in Nepal, Ilam district. The trail runs through the mountain top, over the meadows, with beautiful waves of green mountains all around. To the far, the fogs are rising up like a curtain. Feels like the angels are flying all around. Though the scorching sun above the head, but the cold, soothing wind relaxes the inner soul and makes the traveler to keep walking, keep climbing the trails with feelings of happiness, leaving all the daily stresses and responsibilities of life behind. feels more like walking through a dream rather than walking in the mountains. A land free from smoke, a land free from cacophony of city life. The only melody which one could enjoy here is the chirping of birds, rustling of leaves, and the flavor of adventure in the laps of eastern Himalayas. Fogs embracing human body as well as the soul makes us forget the self-identity. Our identity today is all surrounded by the nature, beautiful landscapes, the amazing mountains. The moments reminds us of a poem. Take me to the mountains, for that's where I belong. Just birds and trees, veins and leaves, and silence is my song. Singalila, being a home of varieties of rhododendron, is also a home of varieties of flowers like primula, geranium saxifraga, piston, senecio, cotton ester, and numerous varieties of orchids. And when rhododendrons welcome with its amazing blooming smile, it reminds us of a popular Nepali song. Gurasai fulio banaima, mero man झुल्यो, तिम्रो मनैमा. And here we are now in Gairibas. Gairibas is a tiny hamlet with very few countable huts and tea shops, lying at an altitude of 8,600 feet. It also shares border with Nepal, so one could spot SSB camp over here and a checkpost present here to inspect the identity cards and permits. Gairibas is a breaking point or a tea break point after Tumling. Who would not love to have a plate of delicious momos in the mountains? Momos and mountains are the perfect combo of relaxation and adventure. It feels like made for each other. After a tea break, the trek to Kalipokhri starts, which is about 6 km from Gairibas. The trail from Gairibas to Kalipokhri is moderately steep on stone trails. So, one needs to get mentally and physically prepared for a challenge to come. Though a motorable trail that runs through the dense forest. Though a bit moderate steep trail, but the soothing sensations provided by the fog and the fragrance of the wet soil and wet leaves pulls the human body closer to the rawness of the nature, for which the body and mind doesn't even understand the challenge and moves on its own, as if the nature has hypnotized the soul with its beauty. Sometimes the water droplets drips off from the wet leaves and falls on the body, and the cold sensation provided by the mist takes us in a different land. After Gairibas, a tiny hamlet which comes on the way is Kaiyakata. Kaiyakata, a very small rural hamlet with only few huts. It is generally a lunch point of the trekkers. The trekkers need to inform the huts previously to keep the lunch ready. After having a hot sumptuous meal in Kaiyakata, it's time to move to Kalipokhri. From Kaiyakata, the trail gets divided into two ways. One is a trekking trail, another is a motorable trail. From here, the trail is moderately steep. The dense fogs, the wet fragrance of the leaves and the barks of the trees kills all the tiredness with a soul full of happiness. It feels like craving for more, the ease to know more, the urge to absorb more of the affection and love, as spread by the soothing cold winds and fogs. And here we are now in Kalipokhri, the wonderful, serene and holy lake. Due to the dense fog all around, the beauty of the lake couldn't be viewed properly. The serene lake spreads immense positivity in silence and heals all the tiredness and stresses as experienced on the trails while climbing. Mind and soul gets detoxified due to its soothing nature.
After Kalipokhri Lake, one have to move 10 to 20 meters in the Kalipokhri Village, where there are only few countable homestays available, and one have to stay overnight in Kalipokhri. For the next day, we have to trek to Sandakphu.
A shiny, lovely morning here. It is truly said, sometimes you need to walk through the fog to get more clarity after it clears. Such is the beautiful morning every day in Kalipokri, with fluttering prayer flags spreading the mantras of peace in the environment, and the blue sky beckons the mind to stare. The chilling winds flowing at one way throws the challenge to tolerate, and in another way soothes the soul. In Nepali language, the word Pokhri means lake or pond, and Kali or Kala means dark or black. As the water of the lake is bit blackish blue, so it is called Kalipokhri.
এতদিনের মধ্যে রুটি হচ্ছে আজকে দি বেস্ট।
After a sumptuous breakfast, it's time to move to Sandakphu. the highest point of the Darjeeling Himalayas, one of the main attractions of our destination. It is a 6-kilometer distance from Kalipokhri. Bidding goodbye to Kalipokhri with sweet memories, it's time to accept the challenge to Sandakphu. As this part of the trail is through Nepal, so one needs to get a permit from the check post of Nepal police to move further. The first part of the trail from Kalipokhri to Sandakphu runs low uphill and mostly flat till Bikebhanjan. Then after Bikebhanjan, it gets very steep with every turn. Sandakphu could be spotted from here. The tip of the peak is the highest point of Darjeeling Himalayas. Here we are now in Bikebhanjan. Bikebhanjan is a tiny settlement on the trails with few tea shops. People mostly take a tea break here and relax to get ready to face the upcoming challenge. There are many shortcut trails available in between the main trail, which is way more steeper compared to the main trail. So it is advised to take the main trail to avoid too much of steepness. And now it's time to get surprised with the gigantic view of the third highest peak of the world, the majestic KhanchenDzonga, the sleeping Buddha. As one climbs the steep trails, KhanchenDzonga welcomes the trekkers with its wide beauty. A beauty to mesmerize, beauty to get amazed. The more we climb up, the more we get amazed by the astonishing views of the mountains. Blue sky with white clouds floating like cotton. An ambience to get lost in the nature. The trail to Sandakphu is walking through the rainbow, as you will get varieties of colors welcoming you throughout the trail. Throughout the year, may it be in spring or summer, post-monsoon or winter, the blaze of color always binds the trail with an immense pleasure of affection and love provided by the elements of nature. The view to cherish, the view of success, the moment of amazement. When the majestic sleeping Buddha stands with its pride and honor, crushes the tiredness and stresses which one faces in the trails, and motivates the trekkers to climb till one reaches the top, until the mind gets fulfilled with the view. Irreplaceable memories to create with the colors, a moment to amaze with the sky, a view to get stunned with the gigantic mountains. Such is the trail to Sandakphu. यो पहाडको ढुङ्गामा छु, ती सबै हुन् माया बसेको. An old Nepali song fits perfect with the ambience. As one starts to climb the steep trails, more wondrous wide views welcomes the eye. And one gets an amazing view of the green waves of mountains below, the clouds and fogs rising below the footsteps, blue sky above the head, bright sun, green mountains all around, and the smell of greenery pulls the human body upwards, or it has got the feeling of love and happiness. Last 2 kilometers to reach Sandakphu is quite steep, but worth the climb when one gets the amazing view of the surrounding. Long pine trees and rhododendrons welcomes the tripper with their shadows to relieve the stresses and relaxes for a moment. At the same time, the soothing cold winds and frogs embraces the mind and body, pulls it upward. Miles to go before I sleep, or I have got the meaning of life. More to achieve, or I have got the taste of nature. Or the clouds are calling me to feel their angelic wings. Or the fogs are giving the warm hug like my mother. The fresh fragrance of the raw nature, the wet barks and stems, refreshing my soul. The far, the gigantic peaks crushing my ego, for I realized I am just another species in this wonderland. After a strenuous climb for 6 kilometers, we are now in the highest point of the Darjeeling Himalayas, the Sandakphu, the land of sleeping Buddha, the land of panoramic view of the highest peaks of the world, the land to be in love with the nature, the romantic world in the wonderland. This is the moment to cherish. This is the moment to be proud. This is the moment to feel for achieving the heights. The journey to remember forever. The trails which will beckon you in dreams, and you will crave again to be in this wonderland. Getting to the summit point is a must for every adventure lover, for it gives an adrenaline push and immense pleasure of rock climbing. Not so steep, but worth a thrill and challenge to climb. The summit point, or the topmost point of Sandakphu, is decorated with colorful prayer flags and cairns to maintain the belief of cultural and religious tradition, which can be seen throughout the Himalayas. And when one reaches to the topmost point, it feels like stepping into the different world. Pleasure to be on top of a mountain, with clouds flowing below, trees and vegetations below your steps, and from far, all one could view is the waves of mountains. This is the moment to be silent and feel the view, feel the colors, feel the nature. Such is the amazingly beautiful journey to Sandakphu. Stay updated with us. Like, comment, subscribe our channel and press the bell icon for the next updates. For the next part, we will take you to the trails of the dreamland of Phalut. Thank you.